Hello, Kiri Honey here. Welcome to today's focus training where we are talking about conflict. We will specifically be talking about being able to identify which conflict style you are, how understanding your conflict style can improve your marriage, and what to do when the inevitable conflict occurs, because conflict is unavoidable, I'm afraid, because we are all different people with different intentions, different expectations, all trying to get along. And sometimes it doesn't quite go to plan. So the focus on today's session, I wanted to talk to you about the Four Horsemen. Now, the Four Horsemen is a concept designed by John Gottman to determine basically the staying power of a married couple. There are certain elements of conflict that he thought were basically going to determine whether your marriage would last the distance or not. So there are four horsemen. They are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. I am going to talk to you briefly about how those four horsemen show up, what they look like, so you can use that information to identify your own styles. And then at the end, I will offer you a quick strategy for how to change the way you maybe approach conflict if one of these styles matches your way of dealing with conflict. Because our goal is to replace these types of conflict styles with more healthy and productive communication patterns. All right, so the first of the horsemen is criticism. So criticism is actually attacking one's, basically their entire being. So rather than critiquing an action or a specific issue, it's attacking the person to their core. And it does not go well. So if we identify a complaint versus criticism, the complaint would be, I was scared you were running late and you didn't call me. I thought we had agreed that we would do that for each other. A criticism would look like, you never think about how your behavior is affecting other people. I don't believe you are that forgetful. You're just selfish. You never think of others. You never think of me. Now, if somebody said that to you, how would that make you feel? You might get defensive. And that is the third horseman, so we're going to talk about that one in a second. We often lead with criticism because we lash out. We pick an inopportune time to discuss our complaints. And it comes across as a more personal attack. So wait till the end, and we will talk about how you can avoid approaching these kinds of situations or challenges with a criticism. Okay, the second of the horsemen is contempt. Now, this is a really big one, and if this is you, you may need to do a little bit more work to stop with the contempt. But basically, we're just actually being mean. We treat others with disrespect. We mock them with sarcasm, ridicule. We call them names. We mimic or use body language such as eye rolling and scoffing. And basically, the person on the other side of the contempt is made to feel despised and worthless. So it's like way on the other side of criticism, because criticism attacks your partner's character, but contempt basically assumes a position of superiority over your partner. And it's really fueled by long-standing negative thoughts. And basically, when it all comes out after not having been dealt with in a healthy way, it may come out in this fashion. And basically, you're showing that you are far better than they are. Contempt, unfortunately, is a key indicator in divorce, according to John Gottman. So if contempt shows up a lot in your marriage, there may be a bit more work that needs to be done here. The third horseman, as I alluded to before, is defensiveness. So, as I said, it is basically a response to criticism. And it's when we feel like we're being unjustly accused, we will tend to fish for excuses, play the innocent victim so that our partner backs off. But our excuses basically tell our partners that we don't take their concerns seriously, that we won't take responsibility for our mistakes. And if you've been following inside my community for a while, you will know that radical responsibility is one of my favorite divorce-proofing habits, because we can only control ourselves, our reactions, our responses, the way that we handle things. So when we can try not to take things personally and take ownership of what we do, then we can avoid this kind of defensive behavior. So let's look at an example here. So here's a question. Did you call Betty and Ralph to let them know that we're not coming tonight as you promised this morning? A defensive response might look like, I was just too darn busy today. As a matter of fact, you know just how busy I am. Why didn't you just do it? A non-defensive response can express acceptance of responsibility. It can show admission of fault and understanding for your partner's perspective. Oops, I forgot. I should have asked you this morning to do it because I knew my day would be packed. That's my fault. Let me call them right now. It kind of just involves showing up with more love and compassion and empathy for a situation. And it is very easy to get defensive and feel criticized when we are stressed out. If we feel like we are regularly being attacked, that we can't do anything right, that we are not taking the time for self-care that we should be. Because when we're not doing those things, we are already starting off on the back foot, which makes us get defensive. Okay. And then the fourth horseman is stonewalling, and it is usually a response to contempt. Basically, it's a why bother situation. You're being treated like crap through the contempt, the mean behavior, and this is when the person on the other side basically withdraws from the interaction, shuts down, stops responding. It just basically taps out. So it takes time to get to this stage in your relationship. And if you are here, if you just hold on in a few minutes, I will explain what you can do to avoid it. But basically, you're just done. You're emotionally exhausted from the blame that's being put on you. And we're probably not in a state to actually be able to have a conversation. And if you feel like you're stonewalling, like you are just, maybe you're busy doing other stuff, somebody's trying to talk to you, but you're avoiding it, you would like to say, all right, I'm feeling too angry to keep talking about this. Can we please take a break and come back to it in a bit? It'll be easier to work through this after I've calmed down. Then take some time for yourself, 15, 20 minutes. Do something for you. Read a book, meditate, go for a walk. So you can stop feeling flooded by whatever emotions are coming up for you and return to the conversation when you're ready. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what you can do as a quick step if you're in either of the 4 horsemen states. So for criticism, when you are verbally attacking personality or character of your partner. So what you can do to avoid criticism is talk about your feelings in I statements. So explain your side, how it's impacting you, and what your needs are in a positive way. If you're in contempt, so you're attaching a sense of self with intent to insult or abuse someone, work on building a culture of appreciation. Remind yourself of your partner's qualities. What do you love about them? How can you bring more love into your environment, into your responses, into your interactions? Find gratitude for positive things that your partner does. Defensiveness. Defensiveness is when you're victimizing yourself to kind of avoid a perceived attack and reverse the blame that you feel is being put on you. This is where you take responsibility. You accept your partner's perspective and offer an apology for what you've done. This basically involves having empathy for the situation. And stonewalling, withdrawing to avoid conflict and convey disapproval, distance, separation. So what you need to do here is self-soothe, basically, right? You take a break, you spend some time doing something psychologically soothing, something that can stop your brain from being in overwhelm and help settle you so that you can come into a conversation in a calmer manner. So you can do things like we mentioned before, meditate, go for a walk, get outside, take some deep breaths. And so you can avoid distraction and actually be present. Okay, I hope you found this conversation about conflict helpful. You may notice some bits and pieces where you slot in to these 4 horsemen. I know I've definitely been in the criticism. I've definitely done the contempt as well, and eye rolling and all kinds of things that come up when I am not in the best space, best frame of mind. I definitely get defensive. And I don't know if I stonewall, but I definitely can relate to needing time to come back to a situation when I've thought through and I feel calmer. And it's so important to have that time so that you can deal with conflict when you feel in a position to do so. So it's okay to ask your partner for a bit of time to calm down and approach it with respect. So, how can that improve your marriage? Well, it's quite simple, really. If you are not dealing with conflict in these kinds of abrasive ways, you are showing more empathy, you are showing more love, appreciation, value for your partner. And what will happen is they will start showing that same quality back at you. And you have also learned about some ways that you can avoid this kind of approach to conflict, because we all know that conflict will happen, and it's important to have the tools to know how to approach it and also be able to model what healthy, respectful communication looks like, because we want to model that for our kids, don't we? All right. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you again next week, and I hope you found this helpful. If you would like to talk through any of the strategies we've talked about today, or you would like further support in how you can have a stronger partnership than you did before the kids, feel free to book your free 15-minute coffee chat with me, where we will discuss what is most important to you at this moment in time, and you will walk away with a strategy to help you today. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.